I will resume in a second. Okay, welcome everyone. Today is the session 2. Today's session 2 topic is Python installation basics, control structures, functions and strings. We have our honorable speaker, Mr. Manish Soni. Mr. Soni is a principal software engineer at Oracle, currently working with Oracle Eloqua Cloud Marketing product. His past professional experiences are working as principal software engineer at Page Systems, as vice president education with Toastmaster International, Hyderabad in 2019, as he also has worked as development engineer at Castlight Health, Hyderabad. He has also worked as development engineer at Pramati Technologies, Hyderabad. Mr. Manish possesses a master skill set of handling operable coding platforms like J2SE, J2EE, MERN, Stack, JavaScript, Node.js, React.js, MongoDB, microservices, Spring Framework, Spring Boot, Spring REST, Spring Cloud, and many more. So we have a very bright and a very knowledgeable person with us. I request Mr. Soni to take over the session. Mr. Manish Soni, please, sir. Manish Kumar, sir, are you?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm audible.
Okay, thank you. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all. So, yeah, I mean, you just got a brief about myself. Yeah, this is Manish. I'm working with Oracle India, and yeah, I have around like 9 years of IT experience, industry experience, and I worked on multiple stack, multiple software, and time to time I touch this machine learning and all those things. I have seen it very closely as an engineer. Okay, well, so yeah, we'll proceed further, and let me share my screen. I have two links with me. Let me check how can I a window. Is it visible to you?
No, sir.
No, sir.
In link 2, it is visible, sir. In link 1, it is not visible.
Now it is visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible in link 1 also.
Oh, link 1 means this one. Shall I drop one link? Which one, ma'am? I mean, which one you are talking about? Okay. Yeah, let me reconnect it. Yeah, I'll drop, I think, this one. We have 7 participants here. Yeah. Is it clear now? Well, so hope my screen is visible to everyone, right? I dropped one link. Hello.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. No issue.
My screen is visible to everyone,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Your screen is
Yes.
also visible.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Again, yeah. Warm welcome to everyone. So yeah, we just
Yes, ma'am.
we'll go now with the course now. So yeah, I gave this name for this talk, I gave this as a name as up and running with Python because it's just like a
Yes,
basic
ma'am. In the
talk.
other link, it is visible. Now I'm sharing it with in the link too also.
Hello. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, interrupt me if you have any question or if you are having any trouble. Then yeah, I will correct myself. Okay. So yeah. So the talk for today is it's up and running with Python. Uh, yeah. This is Manish, and I'm in Oracle, and I'm having around 9 years of software industry experience. Yeah, so closely I work with this entire framework of the machine learning and other front end side of the applications. So machine learning is a very broad concept. It's not something like only related to Python or data science, but it's very broad. So one application can't be built with only the machine learning technological stack. Well, so I gave two link here. One is my blog, which I maintain on a regular basis. I have another blog as well, but this is something which I maintain now. And then I have a LinkedIn link here. So if you have any problem, then you can pretty much contact me, or you can go to my Medium, and then you can uh, learn things like I post on the time to time basis. I post it there. So yeah, everyone. So this is up and running with Python, and this will be a very basic course. Uh, and here just we will talk about the basic installation and then basic of the Python. So at least at the end of this course, you will have a hands-on on the coding of this Python, and and you will touch some other modules as well. Okay. So yeah, that here we have a course overview. So what we are going to discuss today. So the first will be a brief intro about the Python, and then we'll go through installation till debugging the Python source code. That's the last that's I added because I know like it's very important to see your code, how that code is flowing in an editor. And debugging is a very great skill which everyone should have. Well, so yeah, so now the Python. So what is this Python? Well, Python is, well, before starting this one, I want to let you know that I want this to be an interactive one because we will be doing hands-on coding, and that will be the something which will be, which is very significant. So you should have a system ready with you. I will walk you through the code. I will write the code here, and this PPT is just for reference. No need to involve into that. It is just a basic one. So well, any question till now?
Okay.
Okay, any expectations and anything you can just tell me. And yeah, I want to know something about our audience. So how many of you know Python? I mean, just keep that in chat. Uh, if you know Python, then just keep yes. I think probably everyone are new to Python, so probably I'll get yeah few yes. Okay, Okay, basics. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, basics. Yeah, yeah. So okay, few of them are for basics. Yeah. So yeah. So for them, this is also a basic one course. But yeah, I will give you some other insight. Possibly, if I mean, I'm not sure if you know that, but yeah, it will be something like you will come to know how things are going in the industry and how people share the code and anything as such. Uh, yeah, new to Python and ML also. Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah. So yeah. So what is this Python? Yeah, well, everyone knows that Python, it's not now another programming language. And programming language, I think I mean, we don't need to go into the definition of the programming language. Everyone knows that we are talking about this computer programming language, which is meant to talk to the computer. You are going to instruct the computer to do something, right? If you see, if you have a prior experience, then prior experience means even you will heard that term. You will find many programming language out there, like we have Java, C, C++, many other stuff are there. And when you come to the machine language world, then you'll see this term Python. I mean, that's the widespread in ML community and data science community. Then why is this so? I mean, why not other language? Why only Python? Anyone want to answer this question?
Because of rich library.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And why it's I mean, why there are plenty of library here? Why not in other language, in Java or in C, C++, in any other languages?
Maybe easy to learn.
Yeah, awesome. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, correct. That's right. So the basic goal of Python was it was designed for saving the developer time, not a computation time. Okay. When I will see developer time means you'll see that whenever you are performing and whenever you are creating any program, it's very intuitive in case of Python. And Python creator, they made it in such a way that you no need to look into the nuance of the languages like you have in Java and in other languages like C, C++. It's very cryptic. You'll find many cryptic things there. So what happens in machine learning and data science, there are many algorithms involved, and those involve around this mathematics, pure mathematics, stats, and everything. This is where machine learn to take the decision based on some data. So what happens in machine learning world, in industry, what happens, you will find many mathematicians, and these people are MSc people. They have done masters in mathematics, and then they will work as a data scientist. They will be creating the models. They will be creating the formulas for everything. And if you see mathematics, so it's involved a lot. You will find so we have a regression, right? We have a classification. Probably you have heard that in the introduction of machine learning. So what happens, all those classes, if you see, those are translated into a mathematical formula. Sometimes you will have a linear algebra, sometimes you will have 3D calculus. Then now for these people, to write the code, to instruct the code, when they are trying to implement the code, then it's very intuitive to come to a programming language which is very easy, right? And which is very simple. That's why Python came, and it's like very widespread in this ML community. Even tomorrow you will be writing some model, right? Then what you will be doing, that you will be just going and presenting that. You will implementing that first in Python, and you will presenting that, and you will create a library out of it. Like that, there are many things, many library came into this Python world. So if you see Python ecosystem, I'll talk about that later. But this is what something I thought it's better to talk about this, why we have this Python here in case of machine learning world. And apart from that, we got a lot of community support. If you see, there are multiple organizations coming towards the Python. Even Google has many library they brought in this community, ML community. And I mean, people, I mean, like it's people, I mean, community people, and then, that's the business, how business drives, right? It's drive from the people itself. So it's not only limited to Python. It was for Ruby as well in early days, but now the trend has changed for Python for machine learning. You can do many things with the Python, though, not only machine learning stuff. And it's very good to know the Python. It's easy language. It's very easy for college guys who can just come and then write a code, and then they can understand the system. They can write a very basic systems. So yeah, so I can summarize that it's very simple. Okay, again, there are low barrier, right, to come into this Python world. So anyone who has just a normal, programming language, they understand a bit of variable and all, they can come, they can write the code. And we have a extensive library here, right, and framework. We will talk about all of them. So yeah, and then another thing is that it's a platform independent. So what does it mean is that in this case, in programming world, is that you can write the code here in Windows, you can write the code in MacBook, you can write code in Linux, any environment, and then that will be portable for other environment. There will be minimal changes, but that's manageable. Minimal means it's very minimal. And yeah, so that's the things. So that was, I mean, this is what I was talking about, why Python. Yeah, and these are the list. Now the question is that as we are learning for the machine learning, but what else you can do with the Python? Any cases, anything you want to share, if you know? Short instructions, awesome. That's, yeah. Okay, so I mean, actually, if you see down the line, it's not actually short. The thing is that in ML world, you will have multiple library. So for every model, just have to utilize that model. You'll see that in Numpy and Pandas, how efficient this is to analyze the data. If you have to write the code, then it will be very complex. It will be very convoluted, and it will be just a gone case. Yeah, but that's, yeah. So okay, anyway. So what you can do with the Python? So yeah, I kept one link here, and this is from the Python org itself. If you go here, then you can see whole bunch of applications where Python are getting used. It's in web development. Web development means you can create a website. You can create a backend for the websites, and I mean, website means you can create a web application for the backend. And then scientific and numerics, this is something which we are going to learn in this complete 6-day course. Then for education, yeah, we have many library available for the educations. And I mean, in electrical engineering and physics, you will see many simulation you will find here. And desktop app, you also can make it. And then software development, yeah, whole bunch of things you can read it here. So that's why I kept, you can do almost everything in Python, almost everything. So Python on the base, it's a general purpose language. It's something like Java. Okay, you can do things. Problem will be that sometimes, things will be some complexity will be there, but yeah, anyway, you can do that. And when we say general purpose language, then people will just get confused. It's a kind of generic term. In a layman term, you can think of that, okay, something you can do with that particular language. You can instruct computer to do everything, something like that. And there are some domain specific language like HTML, CSS. There you can just create a website and you can design the website like that. Okay, now coming to this Python ecosystems. So Python was a programming language, but now it's more than that. And this is the slide which will, hope my slide is visible to everyone. This is a slide where I just describe few ecosystem component in our Python world. Why I'm saying few? Because it's only, seriously, it's very few. It's a very limited one. There are multiple uh, components available in this Python ecosystems. So the left corner, if you see, we have a core Python here, this Python logo. Then we have Anaconda. Then we have another library, matplotlib. Then we have Numpy, uh, scikit-learner, pandas. These all things you will be learning. And this icon I kept, this is not related to Python actually, but this will be a part of an IDE, I'll say. So if you see Python ecosystem, so generally we say IDE plus core Python plus framework, and we turn them like this: core Python, the language itself, and then distribution. I'll come to that distribution. What is it? Framework and IDE. So VS Code, it's a Visual Studio Code. It's from Microsoft, and then we have Jupyter Notebook. We have PyCharm. We have other IDE available. IDE, probably people are familiar with this Eclipse and all, right? Eclipse IntelliJ, those are like kind of IDEs. For Python also we have PyCharm that's built on those IntelliJ, and then we have VS Code here. VS Code is very popular. It's like kind of freely available and people are using because they can do everything. And now we have third-party libraries: NumPy, Panda, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Scikit-learner. You will be learning all of them, and this all are ecosystem for our this 6 days course. Let me see if any other courses, any other questions came here. Okay, no. So if you are having any question, then just keep it that in chat. I will just I'll come and then I will answer it. I mean, on time to time basis. Okay. Now, now we'll start from the our agenda. So the first one was the introductions. Okay, that's just about a brief about the Python, and it's just about the mindset. It's just about motivation to learn this Python. And then now coming to this Python installation. So there are two ways to install Python. The first one is that you can directly install that from Python. I mean, you can directly install the Python core Python itself. And then for other ecosystem component, this slide, whatever you have here, you have to install them manually using some installer, and we use pip here. So if people who are familiar with this JavaScript world, they know this npm and all, right? Through npm you can install multiple stuff here. So pip is just like kind of another installer for Python. It's like Python installer you can think of. Now coming to this installation part, so the first one is very painful for the machine learning actually, but yeah, it's doable, and people can do, you can manage that. So what I did, I kept a blog. Yesterday I wrote that because it's not possible to explain both here, but I kept the step by step here, how you can install that. Possibly people are on Windows, so I used Windows, but it will be in the same way for other operating systems. For Mac or for Unix, Linux, for everything it will be the same. Binaries will be different, but yeah, it will be in the same way. So till here, you will be installing the Python, and then we get pip here to install the packages. Packages mean, just remember that ecosystem component. Now, then you have to set the path and all. Yeah, that's fine. Apart from that, to install other stuff like NumPy and Panda and all those things, you have to manage them manually using pip and all those things. Okay, so this is what Python core Python installation will be. Uh, I will drop this one for now because I will tell you some awesome way to install Python and all entire ML kit for our codes, and that is a distribution. That is Anaconda distribution. Okay, so what is distribution? So distribution means you no need to confuse. It's not some kind of I mean high. I mean it's complicated term. It's very simple. The the term distribution we refer to packages, to the collection of packages. So when you are going for the Anaconda distribution, you will get Python, core Python. You will get all the library. There are plenty of library available, Numpy, Pandas, whatever library we are going to use in this course, everything you will get. No need to do any kind of maintenance for all those things. No need to install that. No need to go for the version upgrade or something like that. So this is something I will walk you through, and I want everyone to come and uh, install this Anaconda. Uh, uh, so the first thing is that for that also I kept a link, and this link is for future reference. Like in future, let's say tomorrow you want to install that or something happened, you restarted, you formatted your OS, and then then you can pretty much refer this one. And these are links are available in this slide, and I will share that one with you. So, okay, so I will walk you through that. First, what you have to do, you have to download Anaconda. So I believe everyone are following with me now. Let me go to the chat, and everyone are willing to install. No need to skip that, because I want everyone to write a basic code, and then I'll share other stuff as well. What I mean, you can do with this Python and all those ID available here. So just keep me a message in chat so that I can know that, yeah, everyone are willing to install it. The URL to chat. Awesome. Yeah. That was the nice questions. Yeah. Anyway, I gave this link in the slide. So probably I think after this session you will get from you'll get from someone. I mean, I don't know how the distributions are going, but yeah, you'll get that. So I believe now everyone are on this link. They have opened that link. So first, what you have to do, you have to go here on the download Anaconda, and then yeah, on the link itself you'll see your data science toolkit. It's all set of everything, every library you will find over here. Okay, so everyone are here right now. Just follow with me. Click on the download link. It will just walk you through. I mean, it will just come down here on the pages. It will just bring that section in the web page where you can bring the installer in your local. So for Windows, I believe everyone are having this 64-bit, so they can go with that. Just download that. And then for Mac OS people, they can download the installer from here. That's also, yeah, make sure that you are downloading this graphical one, not this command line. And then for Linux, yeah, Linux also, it's the same installer. Any questions here? Are you showing something? Oh, my screen is not visible to you? My screen is not visible.
Yeah, actually, it's not moving, sir.
Okay, Ranjan Kumar, he's saying it's not visible to him. I'm not sure why. So, so are you seeing this screen of Anaconda here, right here?
No, sir, no, no.
What screen you are seeing?
Anaconda distribution, the PPT slide.
Sir, only the screen is space, sir.
Okay,
Anaconda
okay,
distribution screen.
okay. Let me reshare it again. Okay. Okay. Hope this is clear now.
Yeah, visible, sir.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Okay, so yeah, so what I did, again, I'll tell you. So in the step one, I just clicked here, I mean, download Anaconda from here. There is a link. This is the link. You have to go to this link for Anaconda installer. I'll paste that link as well. And you have to download this graphical installer for Windows and Mac OS. Uh, so for, I mean, if you're using Windows, then just click here and then, yeah, and then Mac OS, then you have to click here. And then if you're on any Linux distribution, then you can go with this first. And once you download that, then you have to just install it just like another software you install in Windows. It's pretty straightforward. First, you will open the installer. Let me walk you through from here. There will be installer here, and obviously you will click on this run. Let me know if everyone are done, or you can do it. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I will walk you through. So there are one step where you have to be cautious only for that installation. So I mean, yeah, it's heavy software. Probably I think 400 MB. Then it will take a while. But anyway, it depends on your connectivity, like how fast your internet is. Anyway, so just you have to follow the step. You will just go and then accept the agreement. And then here, so this step, it's telling you for whom you want to install that Anaconda. It's for just me, means it's only going for to install that for you. I mean, if you are, I mean, you're created a multiple user for your Windows system, and all users means, yeah, there will be multiple users. I mean, for it will be available for everyone. And then, yeah, here it will tell you the path where you want to install that. Make sure you have that much space available. It's around 3 GB. And yeah, so this is one crucial step here. So the checkbox, whatever you're seeing. So what happens when Anaconda will install all the library? So generally in Windows, what happens? We set the path, right? And we set that through path environment variable. So there are two ways here. What we can do, we can either set the path, okay, the first options, and then second one is that you just won't set the path, but you will launch it as in a GUI. I mean, normally, I mean, I'll walk you through like how you can even launch that. So the thing is that if you are not like kind of, I mean, if your system is very clean, then you can opt for the first one in a simple term I'm saying. But if your system just, it's a kind of messy, you install multiple packages, then the second one will be the go-to options for you. Now, it will take a while here as well when it will extract all the library and then it will install. You can pretty much click on the show detail to see what it's going to do. And then, yeah, once it will complete, then the button will, the next one will get highlighted. And then, yeah, and then here in this step, it will ask you to install another ID, that is PyCharm. That is another ID, it's another heavy thing. So you can skip that for now. I will tell you another way to work with this ID, but pretty much you can do that you can do later even. This is just a notification. Anaconda is asking you to do that. And then, yeah, once it's completed, then yeah, you'll see the success message. And then this is just like kind of completion message. So let me check the chat. Okay, mini conda. Yeah, I mean you can do that, but I will recommend to use this Anaconda. There are many things I will walk you through what you can do, what else you can do. I mean, there will be multiple things you will be getting here. Yeah, select 3, select 3 plus 3 dot x. So the thing is that Python has 2 major release. One was 2, that's just got discontinued. No one is going to maintain that. Now the world is for Python 3, and it will be the future of the Python. So every security patch, everything, every new development will come to Python 3, not to Python 2. So make sure you are using Python 3. Let me know if anyone are having any problem. I recommend to use the latest one. Um, uh, then, I mean, that's kind of uh, uh, good to have. Okay, last step is going on. Link. Okay, this link. I'm not sure if the old chat is, I mean, old messages are visible to people, but yeah, I mean, if you scroll up, then probably you'll find the link. Anyway, I'll be sharing all this material to you. Anaconda Navigator screen, what to do next. Okay. Okay, you got the Navigator screen. I think majority of people have installed that. If you want me to wait, then I'll wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll proceed. Okay, so anyone are using Ubuntu or any other distribution, or everyone are on this Windows, or anyone are on Mac? Okay, I believe everyone are done with that Anaconda Navigator. I mean Anaconda installation. Now what will happen? So Anaconda brought everything to your system. It brought the Python, and it brought all the packages. There are multiple, I mean, there are multiple things it brought. Now what I'll do, I will walk you through that one, but let me scroll down here as well. So once in Windows, what you can do, once you go to this start prompt, how you search for other software, other installation, then just type Anaconda Navigator. You will probably see screen, I mean, icon something like this, Anaconda Navigator. I mean, like how I have this here in the screen. I kept that in PPT. And just you have to click there, Anaconda Navigator. I'm on Mac, so there are different way. But anyway, pretty much the screen will be similar. Launch program will work in a similar way. It will take a while if you are if you are launching it first time. It depends on the system as well, like uh, RAM size and everything. Yeah. But anyway, it's initializing. I mean, it will take like a minute or two. Any other question? No. Okay, well, so Anaconda Navigator will look something like this. I hope everyone are looking at my screen. Okay, well, so yeah, I'll walk you through. So this one. So you can think Anaconda Navigator as kind of your home for ML stuff, and it will do multiple things. When you will learn the course later as well, you will come to know, you'll see the packages and then the ID available over here. So the first one, home, here it will just display you the ID. There are other IDs available, we have multiple PyCharms here. I told you earlier that you can install that as well. We have VS Code here, Spider, and many other stuff are available. For this course, I will be using Jupyter, and for this entire 6 days, you will be using this Jupyter only, because I'll also show you that how it very fun to work with Jupyter. So that screen will just show you the packages or no ID to launch. Now coming to the second one, from the left side, you will have a four menu. One is home, one is environment. So this is this is environment concept. I mean, the thing is that what happens, you can pretty much create another test environment. So what happens, like when we work, we can create a test environment with the minimal packages, and then we can just load those mini packages itself. So by default, it will, you will be working on the base packages, but anyway, that's fine. Now coming to this learning. So learning, here you will see whole bunch of link for this Python tutorial, and then ML and all data science related tutorial. And you will have a training link here. You will have videos available, webinar, if there are any going, you will have. So for the Python documentations, I prefer this Python doc here from the Python itself. And I recommend you to follow this whenever you will learn this ML stuff and all those things. I will share that link in chat. Anyway, it's available here as well, but this is something I am pointing to. Now coming to the last one, the community tab. Here you will have the whole bunch of community available who are active in this ML and data science space. And you can read them, what they are doing. And yeah, the discussion going on there. So Bokeh and Stack Overflow, pretty much everyone are available. Anaconda Forum, SciPy. These are for scientific stuff. Numpy and Pandas come under this. And then Matplotlib, yeah. So you can read pretty much everything in this community. So let me go to the chat again. So I think everyone are done now, right, with Anaconda Navigator? Let me know if anyone want me to wait. Okay, if anyone want me to wait, because I want at least everyone should, um, uh, familiar with this basic code structure of the Python and all, because later point of time you will be writing the regress code in Numpy, Pandas, and all those scikit library. Okay, okay, yeah, for few it may take time because yeah, as I told you, it's like heavy package. But anyway, uh, I'm not sure if the video is getting recorded. Yeah, it's getting recorded, so pretty much you can see the recording later. So I believe now everyone have this Jupyter. I mean, everyone have this Navigator open. So now what you have to do, you have to launch something. So generally, we work with Jupyter in this complete 6-stage course. So just click on this launch here in the Jupyter notebook. And there are other way as well to launch that, but yeah, I recommend you to use this launch button here. Once you launch Jupyter, what will happen in what actually happens? There is a web server which runs. Anaconda comes with this behind the scene with web server concept. What it does behind the scene, it will start a web server which will have environment details, and it will launch a portal web applications, and it will launch by default in your selected uh, browser, and then pretty much you will get screen something like this right here. Okay. You can see you can even terminate it. Control C, like how you kill other service. Okay, well, so okay, so yeah, I will walk you through this Jupyter notebook once. So the here on the top you will find 3 tabs. First one is the files, second one is the running, and then clusters. By default, it will just go to your home directly. It will launch there, but pretty much you can change with the another command. I will talk about that later. So uh, so yeah, I mean, if you have other folder, other files available, then pretty much you'll see all those files here listed. I mean, other files means directory and files. And if it's not there, then it will be like this. For me, it's empty. I launched that at my desktop. So this is the Python talk I created. This is a complete empty folder. Whatever I will do here, I will just share the code with you later. That's why I created it another folder, and then I will just, I mean, I can share it later. Now coming to that another tab here running. So yeah, before that, let me create one file. So here at right corner you will see the new button, new. This is a drop down. You'll click on the new, and then here it will give you the options to either you can create the file Python file, text file. It's like normal text file. Folder means you can create the folder pretty much. So the folder will be like this. So I got a folder here. You can pretty much rename that folder. Like I just gave it as a name test. This is just a playground for your next 6 days. So here it created this test folder here, and then the file which I created here, that's the by default the name will be untitled. This is the file here. Everything will come here in this directory itself. For you it will be in different directory, but yeah, I mean wherever you are creating, it will use that directory. Now coming to the another one, here you will see terminal. Terminal means you can pretty much open a terminal. It's the another web terminal, just a kind of simulation of your command prompt. I mean in Mac it's terminal. It's called terminal. And then yeah, you can execute all the command whatever you have, dir or mkdir, anything you can do. And then that's the file. That's the file which we will be creating. So what happens? I just created a file and then I am just giving it a name. You can rename it from here. There is a untitled text here, right? Just click on that untitled text, and then yeah, it will give you a pop-up box. Here you can pretty much edit the name. Introduction. Okay, what happens in the Python, I mean in this Jupyter notebook, it creates a file with this extension IPynb. I mean it's a Python notebook, you can think of interactive Python notebook. So this is interactive, means you can write your command here and you can execute not only a single line command, you can write almost everything, like what you can do in another editor. If you are from other language background like C, C++, you create a file, right? Similar thing, instead of file, you can dump those code here and then pretty much it will run. Okay, so let me see if any questions. Sorry to interrupt, sir. Fonts are not visual properly. Oh, okay. Sorry. So yeah, let me know if this is clear to you. Okay, so I think yeah, fine. So well, so yeah, as I told, like it brought everything with you, right? I mean, it brought NumPy, it brought pandas, it brought matplotlib, it brought everything. So first what we'll do, we will check the version. So this is what we do with other programming language as well, right? So what you can do, you can import the sys library. I mean, this is module, I'll terminate. And the thing is that this import is just similar to the import in Java, include in C, C++ like that. And import is in JavaScript or Node.js if you have background in that, required in PHP like that. So it will just import that, and then you can just pretty much you can just see the version, what version of the Python you have. So for me, it's 3.08.5. 3 is the major version, major release. 8 is the minor, and 5 is the patch release in the Python. So always it will come something like this: major, minor, and the patch. That's not important. Now coming to this NumPy. So NumPy, yeah, tomorrow probably you will be having that session. So see, you haven't installed that NumPy manually, right? But it came with the Anaconda itself. Now I'll show you that. So NumPy. And then here you will see the asterisk sign, right? Asterisk means the kernel is busy. So now what happens? I'll just walk you through everything, every small step whenever I'm writing code and whenever things are occurring. So the thing is that you saw the asterisk symbol here. Asterisk means kernel. So what happens when you launch the Python a Jupyter notebook from that Anaconda Navigator. So it created a Python kernel behind the scene, and that kernel will manage everything. Okay. So whenever you are importing something like you see that to the first cell. So all of these are called as a cell. Okay, first cell, second, third cell. Now when you executed something in the first cell, here you will see that input, like that's one, the first time. I mean, this is the first cell you executed, this is the second cell you executed. Now let's say you are executing this one again. Okay, then that's the third time, I mean third cell you executed. So you can trace the the run, how and what you have executed. Don't get confused. I shouldn't tell you this, but anyway, yeah, this is how uh, uh, these indices mean here in the notebook. Now let's check another one, like we will be working on the pandas, right? Let's say if pandas came, and then this is how we check the version of the install. I mean, pretty much you can check there in the Navigator as well. I showed you the environment tab. There you can check that. Any question came? No. Okay, now pandas. Okay, again another one is the scikit-learner. So for that we have sklearner module available in Python. And what is this? You will learn in detail, but this is something like heart of the ML model. I mean ML models, machine learning models. I mean, you will see many modules available for classification, regressions, and many things, vector machines and other stuff as well. But let's see if it's installed. So tomorrow you no need to install that. Okay, again we saw something as an OBJ indicator. So yeah, kernel is just importing that. It's heavy library. It will take a while. Yeah, now we got that. So yeah, everyone follow pretty much the same release pattern, the major, minor, and then the patch. You don't need to worry about that much. But for the compatibility, you may, I mean, sometimes, rarely, it's very rare, you may, look for that. Now there is another one, that is the matplotlib. You'll be using that. I mean, probably that also after some time. So that's the matplotlib, and then matplotlib, and then that's the same. Now what happens? Now you'll wonder like how I'm running this cell. Okay, so what happens generally? Here you have a run button, right? You can pretty much click on that run button and it will run the cell. But there are other shortcuts as well. So generally, what I do, I click on this shift and enter. Then if you click on shift and enter, then it will run. I'll walk you through that as well. So let's say another canonical something, hello world, which you print in every language which you will learn. So I just kept a command. Print means it will be printing to the default default output. So by default age, I mean by default age, your screen only, right? So, but you can pretty much change that. I'll come to that later. Now I'm clicking on this shift and then enter. So you notice that, right? It executed that cell and then it created another cell down the line. There is another way, and that is, let's say I'm just doing a hello world again. Okay, and now you just do control and then enter, and it will just execute, but it won't create another cell. Any question came? So one thing, please tell me that if any module is not present, should we do? Okay, yeah. So yeah, we have a manager, Conda manager. So through that we can pretty much install that. I mean, that's the Conda manager. So you can just Google it as well, manager. And this is just like another package manager, just like in a pip. but pretty much you will be getting everything. Let's say you want to install something like PyCharm or something else, then pretty much you can go and then you can grab the package from here. I hope I answered. But you won't need that. So can't we use simple command? Yeah, you can use from the terminal. I mean, that's what you have to use, that Conda package manager, that you can pretty much do that. Send the feedback link. Okay, that there. Okay, I was thinking like you were asking me. Okay, anyway, yeah, coming to the screen here again. So yeah, this is pretty much, we were just walking you through the simple Jupyter one. Now, the thing is that we have verified that the package, whatever the packages are installed, and then how you can print a canonical hello world. And then now let's let's get familiar with this interface. Now coming to the cell, after this cell, let me create one, x equal to 12. Now here we got another cell info, that is the out 12. So what it does actually is it store your output for that particular cell. And then now let's say if you want to refer that later, then you can pretty much refer this here. That's typo. That's 12, right? Any question came? Please tell me some packages. Okay, packages means you have a whole bunch of packages available. I will walk you through that as well from the Navigator. I launched that from, so I want to ask that how can you install some packages? Yeah, sure. So let me launch that packages. Or just hold this question for now. At the end, I will answer this one. Okay, I'll install the PyCharm or something else, anything if available. Okay, because we are running a lot of lagging. I mean, it's 3:30 now. And wait 1 minute. Yeah, it came. Yeah, I just launched that. It will make my system slow. I launched that Jupyter from terminal. That's why I just clicked that. I just closed that. Anyway, don't get confused with that things. Now, okay, so yeah, so this is how you will be going to you're going to print something. Now by default, what happens? The print will create a new line. So here you can see by default the print will create the new line, and this makes sense, right? In Java you have the system.out.println, right? ln, that's for new line. But you can avoid that as well, but there also, here also. So the thing is that if you want to get some more help of the print, then pretty much you can go here and you can get the help of the print. Another way is that you can get the help here as well. Just you hover on the keep the cursor here at the print and press shift and tab. Then it will give you a documentation for that print, so you can see what print is doing. Or another way is that you can, I'll just keep it here. So what you can do here, shift plus tab, and then yeah, and then we have this one, print. So here you can take the help like this. So it's not something like that I can tell everything in this session, but I'm saying like how you will take the help, how you'll ask for help, and where. So this is the place you can take the help. So you can see a print is taking the value, it's taking the multiple values. So you can pass multiple values here as well, like that, and you can print it. And then we have separator, and then we have an end. So by default, end is creating a new line. But if you want that, okay, I don't want a new line, then what you can do pretty much is that you can pass a flag here like something like this. Okay, and then it's not going to create a new line. By default it will be just an empty string. And what was the default value here? It's the new line. Here it has uh, overridden that one. And then now you have the hello world with the space here. So tell you, sir, my name is not there in the feedback. Okay. Okay, no other questions. So this is how you'll be taking the help. Uh, that's about the print. That's just a canonical print. Now I'll come to talk about this basics. So what the basics uh, stuff is here. So let me close this one first. It's interfering. Okay. Now for basics. For basics, what I'll do, I'll create a new notebook so I can walk you through some other stuff as well. So here you are seeing this save button, right? Whenever you will click on the save button, it will create a checkpoint. So you can, pretty much go back, and then in case, let's say this file got, you want to go to some different version. It's a minimal kind of a version control. So if you are familiar with Git is kind of version control, but it's very mature and this is another one. Just I close that, and now I got another new line here. So you can pretty much remove the new line. There is Caesar here. You can just click on that, and then but there is another shortcut for that, and that is DD. So this is just simply like Vim editor. If you have worked for the Vim editor, right? Sometimes, let's say, then what you do, you go to the command mode and then you do that. But many people are not familiar with that, so I'll just keep it simple. So what happens in the Jupyter notebook, we have two mode. One is the command mode and one is the edit mode. So edit mode is something like where you will write the code, you will execute the code. And how to know that you are in edit mode is this icon here. That's the green one. And apart from that, here you will have a pencil icon. So this will tell you that you are in edit mode. Now I'm just going to the command mode. So to go to the command mode, just press on the escape button. I just press on the escape button, and then it just turn out to the blue. And then now I will just do DD. I mean, that's just delete line, something like that. It just went away, right? So all of the keyboard shortcut, what I am doing here, let's say you forgot that. Obviously you won't remember. So here you will find this help. Here pretty much you can go and then you can take the help of the help, like a topic which you want. Now there is something like I'll talk about this cell here. Here you are seeing this code markdown, raw, and we convert headings, right? So let's say I'll talk about this mode. So code means this is in code mode. Code means here you can write the Python code. It will recognize the Python syntax. The Python engine will parse it, okay, and then it will execute. So if there are any problem, then it will just prompt you. Now let's say you want to add something, some messages in your Jupyter notebook. Then what you can do, pretty much you can write that through this markdown. I'll show you how you can do that. So I created one new line here. Okay, I'm selecting now markdown. Let's say I'm just pressing on hash. So this is just like if you're familiar with the HTML, then you just go and type headings, right? Something like this, H1. Then this is similar to that. So for the big font, you will just press one hash sharp. You can say, you can term anything, and then basic, and then just the same, control enter, and then it will just print it. Now actually there are a lot of things you can do here with the markdown. Many stuff you can put here, but I'll come to that point later as we walk ahead. Okay, now I will just close this. So to close that notebook, there are a way. So the thing is that you can pretty much close from here, right? Once you'll close from here, then here, once you'll go to the home, it will see it's in green color. It will just show you that in green color. Just select that. Green color means the kernel is, there, it's running. Just go and then just do the shutdown. Okay, I just clicked on a shutdown. Now this is in a gray. It means that has been shut down. Now what I'll do, I will create another Python for the another basics. That's the variable I'll talk about now. Variable and data type. Okay. So yeah, what is variable? So the thing is that what happens in real world, if you see, you will come across many data types, right? Let's say you will have integer like 1, 2, 3, something like that. These are integers. Then you'll find characters. Then you will find some string like that, and then you will have a floating point number. Let's say you are dealing with some kind of money. Let's say 5.5, something like that. That's dollar, something like that, right? So dollar won't be there. That's the rupees. Just I'm saying, just giving an example. Let's say you are dealing with the money or some kind of measurement. You will just go for the floating point number. So if you categorize them, so there are three things which will come most of the time. One will be the number, right? You can categorize them. Another will be your strings, right? And another will be something like kind of a logical things, true or false. Let's say, true or false are so generic that people came up with that as a data type. Pretty much that's not required, but this is how the language came up with that design, so that they can play well with the literal. And then that is the boolean. Boolean will be like true and false. And then the same things I'll do. These are the command. I just selected this as a markdown, so this will be coming as a message. So why I'm doing that? Because I can share you the code, and then later you can even reference it. So yeah, so these are the data types. So you got that one. So if you categorize them, then most of the time there are three types of data you will find in the real world as well: number, strings, booleans. Now what happens? So let's say you got a data. Let's say you got a 10. Okay, in Python world, you have to play with this 10. Okay, let's say 10 people, something like that number. Now, how will you play with that data? So 10 is stored in somewhere in the memory. So generally what happens in programming language, we have a concept of variable, right? What we do, we bind that. We bind data with the variable. So in Python also you can do similar to that. This is just kind of binding. So what happened here is that we binded that 10 with the number. So whenever you will reference that later, that what is the number, what is the value of number, what number is holding, then it's saying 10. Now you can play with the number, right? You can play with that data. You can just increment it, and you can do other stuff as well. This is just a basic concept of the variable. Everyone are, I believe, they are familiar with that basic types. So what happens? This will get stored in memory, and this will just this is just kind of bind. It's binded to that name. Now coming to that type, so number, we got that. I told that we have number, right? So if you see number, so number also, when I was writing the numbers, so I wrote two number. One is something like 1, 2, 3, and another is like something like 2.5, something like that, right? So number also we categorize in two parts. One is the integer, and one is the float. Okay, and then that's the integer and float. Okay, now how will you know that it's number, and how you will know that it's float? Pretty much human can know, right? It's two. If we have a decimal, then yeah, it's obviously it's float. It's going to the float categories. If it's without decimal, it's going to the int categories, whole number you say. But how you will tell, how your program will come to know? So in Python, we got a method. It's a function, inbuilt functions, that's called type. And then whenever you'll execute type, then you'll come to know what the type is. Type is that int. So whenever you want to know like what that particular variable is, you can pretty much use this type, and then it will tell you. Let's say now you got some f number, float number, and then let's say I kept the 2.5, and then oops, and then just that's typo. Then it's saying it's float, right? And then what about a string? So let's say if you have a string, let's say I just gave BIT, then that's the string categories, right? So this is how you will be, pretty much you will be categorizing that, and your program will identify, Python will identify. And let's say if it's Boolean, then there is a bool type. And so these are the way where you can, pretty much identify like what the value type is that they're present in the program. Now coming to this name. So the rule is very simple. You have to follow the naming pattern like how you follow in other language. But just to give you a glimpse like what you can do and what you shouldn't do is that first you should always follow this snake case. Python impose the pattern of following the snake case, but it's just up to you. But it's just a pattern. Now coming to the what you can't do, so you can't write something like this, one float or something like that. It will tell you the syntax error. Why? Because it should not start with the number. There should not be any number here. Okay, number, and then this is how it goes. There should not be number. Should not be any number. Any number in beginning. In beginning. Start. And then I will just comment it out. Now if you see for comment, that's very important point, right? So in Python, this hash symbol will tell you about the comment. So this is how I comment. This is how I comment. How I comment. And if you see, this won't get executed. Python won't throw any error because this is just commented with Python interpreter. Simply it will ignore that point. Now coming to that, for the multi-line comment, in other language we have multi-line comment, right? Python also do some trick and it brings a multi-line comment. That's the string. So this is how I keep multi-line comment. Okay, this is just a comment, and few times it will be getting used for, we use this for documentation. Okay, so when you hover that on the type and when you do that shift and tab, then you get this documentation, right? So these documentations are defined using this literals. I'll come to that point as well. So these are the variable in just nutshell. Now coming to the we have this concept of assignment. So generally we saw one basic assignment here, right? Now we have advanced concept of the assignment, but let's see the question if anything is here. Okay, no questions, right? Okay, so now coming to this assignment. Let me show you one shortcut. Let's say you have a 2 number, 20. This is just a basic assignment, right? This is just a basic assignment. You are assigning some value to name. And now if you print, yeah, obviously, yeah, that's very basic. It will print the value. There are one other way you can pretty much, assign the value, something like, let's say AB, and then 12 and then 10. This is just a shortcut to assign the value. Then you got it, right? 12 and 10. So this we say as in a tuple unpacking, tuple or tuple. It's up to you what you want to pronounce, but this is how tuple unpacking works. And you will learn that as well in next session. We have a list dictionary available. Okay. So yeah, so this is about the assignment and the number in the plot. I mean, these are the available data types. Any questions still here? Okay, no questions. So yeah, I'll now move ahead. Now we have operators. In the basics, we have. So I discussed about this guy variable and data types. Now we have operators. So the simple way, I mean, I'll create another file here, new Python. And then operator. So what is operator? So in so let's say now we have a data, right? Now we have to perform some action on that, right? Generally, how we do that through operator. I mean, that's a very simple intuitive term. So in Python, if you see, there are 5 types of operator, and then I will outline everything. One is like arithmetic operator. And then, so what is that? So so arithmetic operator is just like simply you have this plus, minus, divide, multiply, and all of those things are present. Those are the arithmetic operator. That's about plus, that's about minus, that's about multiply. We multiply the stuff here. Then we have divide here and divide by 2, and then we got 4.5. Now this is a kind of weird because we divided 2 integer and we got a float, right? So in Python we have 2 type of division operator. One is the normal, and then other one we say as in a float division, that is similar to like this. 9 divided by 2, that's the 4. It's a float divisions. Just to keep that in mind. Now we have a modulo present here. Modulo, that's the kind of reminder. So when you divide, whatever the remaining stuff you get, that you will find over here. Then that's the another one. It's the power. I mean, 2 to the power 3, and then that's the 8. So for exponent, you can use double asterisks. Now, if you club a few things here, right? 2 plus 10 into 10, something like that. Then here the precedence concept come into the picture, and then let's say I added something like 3. So here the precedence picture come into the action, like how the operator will get executed. So in Python, these expression will get executed from left to right, and for the operator, they follow a pattern and algorithms to identify which to give priority, and that you can get as a reference in the Python. But let me show you that as well. I have link for that, and if you go to this Python doc, if you scroll down, you will find the expression, right? This one. And then here you will find the precedence, like which to proceed first and second, third. So this is just normal, like our algebra, like how we give the priority to those things. Let's say the plus will have the lower priority than the multiply, like that. So whatever will come, then that will get the priority first. I mean, whatever uh, uh, will have the higher precedence. Yeah, that's about this arithmetic operator. To avoid the confusion, pretty much you can create a parenthesis. You can use the parenthesis, and this is a very good pattern. So now if you execute that, and now you can pretty much know like which is getting executed first, because parenthesis will get the priority first. Now that's about the arithmetic. Now we have a comparison operators, and that is okay. And then that is we have, I mean, it's just to compare. So like, let's say in your memory, in your Python program, you got two data, let's say 10 and then 12. Now you want to compare data, right? Then we will deal with that through this comparison operator. We have a whole set of that, but just to give an example, we have this equal to, that's actually equal to in mathematics, I mean, generally we write like this, right? uh, but in programming, for the equal, like we have this double equal to symbol. Then if it's not equal to, then yeah, there will be negation and then equal to. Then if you want to compare something like greater than, then this is the greater than. So it will just say like it will decide something like this. So you just kept that to operand here, and then based on that decision, whatever is larger, it will return. So in a similar way, pretty much you want that comparison as well, because you want to know whether they are greater or they are equal. So these are the available, I mean, these are the comparison operator available. And then just for completion, you can think of this guy as well, these two guys as well. But anyway, both are like kind of, you can manipulate that. But yeah, this is how it is. Okay, now let me I'll go very fast because we are lagging the time. But yeah, but just to give an example, so here you have 2 equal to 2. So that's true, right? 2 greater than 3, that's false. So the base thing is that for comparison operator, the result will be always Boolean. Okay, so whatever you will perform, you will get Boolean. You will get Boolean. Boolean. Now after this comparison operator, we have I mean, another one we say as an identity operator. Yeah, and before identity, let me discuss about this assignment operator. So sometimes you will be writing something like this. Let's say x equal to 2, and then now you want to increment that value by 5. Now what is the value of x? That's the 7th. There is a shortcut to write that, and that comes under the assignment operator. So in assignment operator, how the things will be here is that you can write that as plus equal to, and then here again the same one, and then here copy2. This is very generic one, that's why I'm just keeping it. And then this is just what it does. It will add the stuff and it will reassign back to the variable. Now for the negation also, we have this one in the similar way for I mean, whenever you have to multiply, this is another short way. And then for division also like this. And then for also, like, I mean, we have these are available. These are kind of an assignment operator. Okay, well, any questions? Okay, no. Okay, so these are the assignment operator. Yeah, I told about the identity operator. So what happens, identity operator will be, I mean, there are two actually. One is age and one is not. So age means it's just for checking whether two objects are equal to. In the list which you will learn tomorrow probably, you will use this guy, and when it's not equal to. I will just give a short example for that. Let's say list, that simply you can think that as an array which can hold variety of data. In array you can only hold the similar type of data, right? Let's say only integer or float, but in list you can keep variety of data. Let's say you have a list here, x and then y, and that both are different. Both are different, right? Now if you print this guy, x is y, then you will see that okay, that's not correct. Why it's not correct? Because uh, it's very similar, but what happens whenever Python will create a list, it will create a whole brand new location in the memory, and then whenever you will do something like this, print x is y, then whatever y is referring to, x is referring to something else. It's not similar, right? But if you keep something like this, let's say z equal to x, you just keep its, I mean, you assign that reference to some other reference, then what will happen now? Let's say x is z. So you got true because both are referring to the same memory locations. Yeah, again, this is something which is very intuitive and which should happen. So these are just overview about the operator. Any questions here? It's very basic even. Okay, if we don't have any questions, then yeah, I will move ahead for the control structure. That's very important.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the next speaker is ready, and the time
Oh,
is exceeding.
Oh, not a problem. If there are few things to cover, you can do that. I can
Okay.
wait. I don't have a problem. If all of you are okay, and I don't have a, sir, please complete it. You can complete
Okay.
your.
okay. Yeah. Thanks, Arya. I will take
Yeah.
a 5 minute. Yeah, five.
Yeah. You can
5
take
to
10
10
minutes.
minutes
10
more.
minutes
Yeah.
more. 10 minutes more. Okay, not a problem. Yeah.
Sure.
We can
Yeah.
go. You can. I can start at 4:15. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we just uh, passed that deadline. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I will talk something important now. So the thing is that now we will talk about this controller structure. So if you see controller structure, so what happens in programming language, everything executes sequentially, right? I mean, in case of Python. So actually there are three controller structures available. Uh, One is like kind of sequential where things will go line by line. So what happens in Python, things are getting executed line by line. It got interpreted by the Python compiler. Actually, it's compiled, but I'll talk, I mean, that's debatable topic. So just you can think of that. So whatever the code we have written earlier, it will just go line by line. Let's say you just kept it here. Then the first line will get executed, then the second, and then so on. But this is not how the real world goes, right? In real world, you will take the decision based on some conditions, based on some data. So data is something which drive your program. So this is why we have a concept of a control structure. So in case of control structure, it's a very pretty much clear. We have if else, just similar to other programming language, and then we have a loop as well. And in Python, we have two for loop and then while loop. I'll just talk brief about that because these are something where a structured programming start. So structured programming means what happens in case of programming world, we categorize programming where we talk about the concept of block. So block is something which create kind of scope and all those things. Uh, uh, and this is not you can think of this as kind of context or area. right? So what happens in case of if-else block? Uh, if-else block, I'm saying the term, just notice my word, if-else block. So in case of other programming language, you will do something like this. You will take some decision based on this condition, right? If there is some condition, then execute this block, else execute something like this. This is just a pseudocode. It should be similar to the Java or C, C++. In so this, I mean, they use curly braces for, you know, this defining the scope, defining the block, not a scope, block. In case of Python, what happens? We don't use curly braces here. What we use concept of indentation. It's just the line will be indented. So the thing is that let's say this same example, how this will look in Python. So Python says don't use these curly braces. Don't, just remove the curly braces from here, from here, from here. And whenever you are ending the condition, just use a colon here. And whenever you are for else, just use a colon here. Okay. And then now, how you'll know like from where to what to execute, where is the block? So for that, they use the concept of indentation. What they do, they ask you whatever you are writing, just indent that, like kind of tab. Generally, tab is something. Pep, you know, pep is like kind of, you know, Python enhancement proposal. It's like kind of standard. Recommend that use the tab, and then you will write something like that here, and then in a similar way as well. So these all, you know, start a block. Okay, and how I will translate it here in Python, let's say, just keep this in the markdown. And then here, let's say x equal to 12. Or let's say there is an age, right? Age equal to something like 21. If age is greater than 21, so this is something I use, that's the comparison operator, the last notebook. Then print, you can vote. Else, you can't vote, something like that. Okay. And then that's 18. Then you can vote, right? So now you are just seeing that, right? So how the block is getting defined here. I just used a tab to define it. And now you can pretty much, you can write multiple line of code here. No need to keep any braces here. And everything, whatever you will keep here, that's the one block, that's the another block. So yeah, this is about the block. Now we have any question coming? Okay. Now, okay, now there is an else if as well, right? So we have a else if, and in Python we do something like this, else if, something like this, elif. And how this will look like is, let's say something like loc equal to loc or something like the bank, some just a normal equal to control, something like that. I just gave a name, print control. Let's say we are taking multiple decisions, right? Based on if it's not this, then let's say check if it's that. And again, it's same. Whenever you are ending the condition, just keep a colon and then just write it. Okay, something like bank, welcome to bank, something like that. And then the else is the default one. Else block. Okay, now welcome to bank, right? So this is how the else if structure will be there. Now quickly I'll talk about the loop. We are running out of time. So the loop is something, you know, the pattern where let's say you have a block of code, right? Let's say you have this block of code. I mean, let's say lines of code, I'll say statements. And then you want to execute them based on some conditions, or you want to do something there. Or you want to operate on some sequence of the data, then you will be using the loop concept. So generally in Python we have a for loop and then while loop. For loop is something which will which will iterate all the sequences, and while loop is something which will uh, execute until some condition get false. So just for a quick example, I will just give you syntax. So the for loop structure will be something like this: for iterator and in sequence. This is just example. The syntax will be like that, and then here in a similar way, whenever you will be defining a block, you will be ending the stuff with the colon and then the tab. So let's say so string is a sequence in the Python, and then we have a list as well. So let's say we have a string defined here. Let's say villi, okay, and then for x in villi steward print x, and then it will print a entire character. So the I mean at indices. So string are stored in the in kind of a they are organized in indices. So the first one is the 0th index, first, second, third, like that. I mean, that was a whole bunch of topic which I couldn't explain because of the time issue. But anyway, and yeah, and then coming to the while loop. So while loop is just another one for, I just told, right? It should execute until some condition get false. So for the example, let's say you have a counter, let's say x equal to 10, and then you just want to execute it something like this x, and then I'll use the term here, and then what it does, it will just print from 0 to that particular place 9. So this is how while will execute, I mean while loop works. And then the condition is something like this: while condition, and then whole bunch of block over here. What I will do, I will just create this notebook. I will just reformat that notebook, and then I will share that. So till loop you won't have any problem. For string and for method, this is two topic I left it. Yeah, I mean so probably, let's say, I mean I have to talk, like if I can get half an hour sometime tomorrow or at any time. I thought it will be in a hands-on, so everyone should write the code. But yeah, the topic was very vast. It's basic, but yeah, this just went away. Uh, so okay, so yeah, okay, sir. So yeah, I will be stopping now.
Okay, sir. Thank
I
you.
think
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your
yeah,
knowledge. Hopefully, sir, if it was possible, you can share the PDF of the rest of the topics that you plan to.
sure. Yeah. I'll share the notebook here. Actually, I had quiz available. I created quiz and all, but yeah, really 1.5 hours is very
Very less, actually.
very less. Yeah,
It's a vast
Uh,
topic, actually.
yeah.
And
So what I'll do, I'll share this notebook with everyone so that they can refer the code, and they can do the experiment. So the few things, block and all, I already spoke about, so it won't be any problem.
yes. So thank you, Manish, sir, for sparing your time and
Yeah.
sharing your expertise with all of us. I will request Dr. Arpana Rawal, Madam, Professor, BIT Durg, to please take over.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If any any one of the participant is interested to ask any query, you may ask. So participants are requested to raise a question from the speaker. and whatever they are thinking that they should interested to be asked, they are free to ask. Only 2 minutes.